Dealing with the good and the bad. Everything has pros and cons. There's always another side to the coin. It's part of the human experience for happiness to feel unhappiness, for security to feel insecurity, to feel all the negatives, the hate with the love, and so on. So in this video, I'm going to help you manage that as I support you in your quest for a better life. Sheep, 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 sheep. In your quest for a more meaningful life, in your quest for success, in your quest for happiness. I'm hanging out here with the sheep and I'm feeling a lot. I'm feeling really, this is a joy that I wish that you could experience. They haven't seen me for a little bit, they're getting all frisky. Okay, so the point of this video is just, I want you to realize that it's totally normal to feel all these negatives. No matter how successful you become and goals that you achieve, there's always going to be negatives. It's part of human emotion, and obviously if we're ever permanently satisfied, then we're going to stop striving. If we ever stop striving, then we're not going to get up and feed ourselves and go be of service to the world. So it's an important part. It's just an important part of being human, and that's the main thing that I want you to get from this discussion in this video. If that sounds useful to you, if that sounds good to you, then please hit the thumbs up button. If you don't have the notifications on, turn the notifications on so you don't miss the video. It's going to be good. There's a lot of people out there who are sharing their perspective on YouTube, but I have a really unique perspective because of the success I've had in various aspects of my life, in health and wealth and lifestyle and in connection with nature. So I don't have everything, but I have some things that a lot of people are missing. So if that sounds good, then you're in the right place. Okay, so what sparked me for today's discussion is that you might have seen some of my videos, pros and cons. Maybe you clicked on one of my videos, pros and cons of living in Seattle, pros and cons of living in Hawaii, pros and cons of living in Humboldt, something like that. And I will periodically do pros and cons, like I'm living in this community right now. And sometimes it's easy to focus on the negatives, but then you realize that there's just always going to be trade-offs. So for example, I'm living in this community, it's sort of all or nothing. The all or nothing aspect is negative to me, where it's like, man, I've been waking up at 5:30 a.m., 6 a.m. for 3.5 years now, and it's fighting my circadian rhythm. That's not natural or normal or what I'm supposed to be doing. And it's hard, and man, like in my future life, I'd like to work up more at my own pace. I think I'll be more productive that way. I feel better about myself. I wish I had more control over my environment. I wish I had more control over the people in my environment. So it's like, oh man, I should leave. Maybe what if I leave? I can use my Bitcoin wealth to buy land and start my own shit. But then the negative is that I'm gonna be starting off on my own, or I gotta wait till I have my family, but it's gonna be more lonely to build the community, all this work, starting from scratch, and then it's just like, yo dude, look at the positives of things. So, you know, for me, the positives of being here is to have all this easily and to have not worry about paying bills, and some more financial security, less stress, amazing social life, people coming into my life with no effort, ability to work in the land, just to structured my life, discipline me, and so on. The point is, like, you can be in an amazing situation and still be like, what's next? How can I make it better? How can I leave and make it better? But then you go to a new place and you're like, I made a huge mistake. I shouldn't have done that. I should have stayed. And this is not just in your living situation, but this is in your career. Man, I should have gone to school for that, or I should have studied this. The grass is always greener. Or your partner, I partnered with the wrong person. I should have had kids. I shouldn't. And I'm all about, and I believe you can be objectively happier. I'm way happier than I was 24, man. I have way less stress. I think you can see it in me. I'm just way healthier. I'm more vibrant. If you look at my videos when I started, not when I started, but 2005, 2006, I wasn't looking that healthy or that good compared to now. I believe in objective things that contribute to happiness. We have studies on them. Having community, having fuzzy animals, being needed. What else? Believing in God, having faith in God, being connected to nature in some way, eating good food, moving, having good movement, being healthy, having family, not having to worry about bills, having options, opportunity. These things will definitely make you happy, but it's in our design to be unhappy sometimes. It's in our design. We're supposed to feel negative. So it's the game of life is really difficult, and this is why it's worth so much time meditating and thinking about. This is why it's worth having a coach or being part of a mastermind or a men's or women's group support group or having confidants, because it's not clear when you really should leave and start something new, or whether that's just a pattern in your life and you keep leaving and you start something new. You keep leaving and you start something new, and you miss out on decades-long connection, because that's another major contributor to happiness. Is I've known these people all my life. They've known me all my life, or for many years, for decades. We've been together for decades, and you clearly just can't build that up. A lot of people are missing that when you move for college, and then you move to a new city, and then you move to a new, oh, I don't like it here, I don't like these friends, I'm gonna start over. Every time you keep starting over, you're missing out on setting your roots and having the experience of having a deeply knit community that you've known for years and decades and your whole life. So I'm not saying that you need to live where you were born, that you need to bloom where you were planted. But what I am saying is, if that's a pattern in your life, you got to reevaluate that. And it's really hard to know whether, should I leave, or is that just a pattern of escape that's going to cause me to miss out. So that's where you got to take the good with the bad, and that's where you got to evaluate the pros with the cons and say, hey, this isn't perfect, but I'm gonna live with it. That's part of life. I might be like, man, I don't like that I have to ask for vacation, or that I have to, um, you know, get permission to change my living situation or have a dog, but that stuff's super normal, right? That's just the pros and cons of living in community. You want to go be a hermit in the woods and have total autonomy, total freedom, you're missing out on the negotiation and communion of society, right? That's just part of living in society. That's part of living in community, is the trade-offs that you make. So there's constantly trade-offs that you're going to experience in life. And that's just the energy that I want to share with you today, is that I don't know the answer for you. You can comment down below if, should I just balance, is this good enough, or should I go, right? I don't have that answer for you, but you got to realize at a certain point that you just got to deal with the negative, and it's part of life, and it's okay, and you can keep running and thinking, oh, I'm going to find the perfect balance. You're never going to find the perfect balance between being needed and being autonomous, being part of community, and having total freedom of getting to do what you want, but also feeling a duty of, um, and, and so on. It's never going to be perfect. The goal is good enough. The goal is good enough. Like, if you can get to your life to 7 out of 10, that's better than most of the world. And you don't necessarily need to change a lot. You can refine, but you could just deal with the negative. Like, it's part of life. It's part of life. It's part of the beauty of life. I'm gonna feel anger. I'm gonna feel jealousy. I'm gonna feel pain. I'm gonna feel grief. I'm gonna feel loss. I'm gonna feel hate. I'm gonna feel insecurity. I'm gonna feel all these negative things. I'm gonna feel depressed. I'm gonna feel sad. I'm gonna feel mad. I'm gonna feel anxious. I'm gonna feel all these negative things, but I'm also gonna feel joy. I'm gonna feel happiness. I'm gonna feel humor. I'm gonna feel love. I'm gonna feel care. I'm gonna feel maybe there's almost not as many positives as there are negatives. That's also part of life, is Just feel happy. You feel happy for a couple different ways. You can feel sad for a dozen different ways. So that's sort of interesting. But that's just what I want to leave you with. And if you made it to the very end here, or towards the end, I appreciate you. I'm grateful for you, and I just want you to be, if things aren't perfect, just be okay. Like, be okay with that. That's okay. It's fine. You look on the internet and you see, I don't want to create the impression that my life's perfect and that it's possible to have a perfect life. I do want to create the impression that you can have a better life and you can become a better person and you can improve your surroundings, but it's not going to cure the fundamental nature of being human, of that we get sad and we die. It's part of life. So I'm just sending out love right now and saying, hey, if it's not perfect, it's okay. Count your blessings and make a list of the positives and try to focus on those. And at some point, you got to settle down, set your roots. Yeah, maybe war or pursuit of better things for your family or whatever is going to cause you to move. But in a lot of things, just putting in the years, putting in the decades is actually what's going to contribute to your happiness more than anything. It gets better with time. You can learn to make things better, or you learn to better deal with the negatives. So I hope you find that helpful. I hope you find that useful. I appreciate you. And please comment down below if you found this useful. Again, if you're listening to this while you're working out, or you're going for a walk, or you're driving, or you're cleaning up your house, making a smoothie, whatever it is you're doing, please come back and hit the thumbs up and let me know in the comments that you care and that it mattered and that it made a difference, so I can keep making these videos. Whether I get 50 views or 1,000, 100,000 views, it doesn't matter. I'm just trying to make a difference. So if I'm making a difference, let me know in the comments down below. And have a beautiful day, fam. Peace.